Okay, continuation that is you have already completed about the introduction of the meetings and all what you mean by the meeting. So the next one thing is that we have to start discussing with what is the purpose of meetings. Every meeting is called for some particular purpose. Okay, it is this purpose that decides the form of the meeting. In generally, the main purpose of calling a meeting is to either for informational meeting, or either it may be the decision making meeting. Is it clear? That is the two types are there. One is either it may be the informational meeting, or either it may be the decision making meeting. So that is, here it is the informational meeting is called so because the here the participants are going to share the information and possibly coordinate actions. Say for example, that is in the informational meeting, okay, to communicate important or sensitive informations. Say for example, that is a rejection of any particular major proposals and all. Either than that, to explore the new ideas and the concepts, that is to bring in a change in the work pattern. Okay, so that is you wanted to explore some of the ideas and some of the concepts in the organization. That is to provide a feedback, that is to share the feedback. Okay, what is the employees reactions on a newly introduced bonus scheme? This is one example. Okay, what is the feedback on the new product which you wanted to introduce? Okay, or the new thing which you wanted to do, or the new rules which you wanted into organization. Is it clear? So for that you are going to collecting the feedback. So that is to provide the feedback, to present a report. Is it clear? To gain a support for an idea or the project that is about the new product designed by the research division and all. So for this is all the reasons are there why you are conducting a meeting. These are all these things comes under the informational meeting. Is it clear? So that is the participants are going to share the information. The another type of the meetings here which you are going to be conducting, the purpose of conducting this type of the meetings is to make a decision here. Is it clear? So here the main thing is that they are going to analyze the some of the issues and all. Okay, and analysis of particular problems and try to get a solution for these particular problems, and they wanted to take some decisions here. So this is now we are going to be call it as a decision making meetings. So some of the examples here they are given, that is in the decision making meetings, what the things which they are going to discuss, and that is to reach a group discussion. Okay, say for example here the organization wanted to decide about the promotion for the particular employees. They wanted to hike a DA, they wanted to hike a HRA. Is it clear? So they wanted to take a decision over there. Okay, next one is that to solve a particular problem, they are going to conduct these meetings to reconcile a conflict, that is to decide about some of the strategies which have been made. Okay, to that is to the negotiate agreement, that is to decide the course of action before the actual negotiation, that is to win the acceptance for a new idea, plan or a system. Okay, the example is that explain the benefits of the new scheme, why you are going to implementing this particular scheme in your organization, how it is helpful to others, that is to convince. Is it clear? So these are all the things are there, that is the purpose of conducting these particular meetings, where you are going for analyzing and problem solving will be done. So this is your what you are called as decision making meetings. So as you know that the purpose of calling a meeting is to to decide here. Okay, the form of the meeting is either it may be the informational meeting, or either it may be the decision meeting. The informational meeting is that the participants are going to share the information. Is it clear? So that is in the decision making meetings. Here mainly it is going to be concerned with the persuasion, analysis and problem solving. Okay, the next one here we are going for the preparation. Okay, this is the second one, that you have to prepare for conducting a meeting. Okay, how you have to prepare for conducting a meeting? So before you call a meeting, ask yourself some of the following questions. Okay, so what are the questions we have to ask ourselves before calling any particular meeting? So you ask that, is this meeting necessary to call? Is it clear? What is my objective for calling this particular meeting? Okay, is it a right time for calling the meeting? Okay, how much will the meeting cost? You see, whenever you are going to call the meeting, so different people have to be arrive from the different places to attend the meeting. Okay, so you have to spend the money for their accommodation, transportation, TADA and all these things. Is it clear? So you have to concentrate that one also, that how much will the meeting cost. So if you have decided to call a meeting, then determine the following. Okay, so that is what is the time, the duration, okay, meeting notices and agenda. Okay, who are all the participants that you wanted to invite for that particular meeting. Okay, where you wanted to conduct that meeting, that is the venue. Okay, so all these things here you have to study here. Okay, so whenever you want to call the meeting, first you have to determine the timing. Okay, the timing here it is that whenever you want to call the meeting, you choose a timing during which participants are at their best. They should, they should be free and they should be ready to attend. Is it clear? You have to choose such a time that participants are at their best to attend. Okay, next one, start the meeting at an unusual time, no problem. Okay, you can start at an unusual time, but okay, end at a natural break. What do you mean by an ending meeting at a natural break? That is you have to leave give a break at a lunch break. Okay, or you have to give the tea break here, or you have to close the meeting of the work day. Is it clear? So this is he is going to say that you can start a meeting at an unusual time, okay, but end at a natural break. Okay, so what are the natural break point here? The natural break points are either it may be the morning tea break, either it may be the lunch break. Is it clear? Or close of the work day. Okay, now allow sufficient time to prepare here. And next one is that avoid surprise meetings. Don't conduct surprise meetings here. Is it clear? So these are all the things here you have, which you have to be the concentrate. That is whenever you are going to the scheduling that a particular meeting. So this is which is related to that particular the time. The next one is that duration. So the appropriate length for a meeting depends on the type of the meeting. Okay, the number of issues, the problems which you wanted to discuss in that meeting. Okay, what is the complexity and the sensitivity of the agenda items. So before that conducting the meetings, you are having some agenda. Okay, so these are all the points has to be discussed in the meeting. So how many number of that agendas are there which you wanted to discuss, what is their complexity and the sensitivity, okay, of these agenda items. So depend on this. So how much time is going to be required for this, that is the length of the meeting is going to be depend on, that is nothing but the duration. The next one here it is that meeting notice and agenda. Okay, simply you don't call the meeting. Is it clear? So before you call the meeting, you have to generate one the notice. Okay, and you should have to prepare an agenda. Is it clear? What is the purpose of calling this particular meeting? Okay, so what are the items you are going to discuss in that particular the meeting, that is called as agenda items. Okay, so that's why they are going to be say that you have to generate the notice regarding the meeting. Okay, it is important to inform all the participants well in advance about the meeting. Okay, I am going to conduct the meeting on so and so these particular issues on this particular date and all. Okay, so that they can they attend, so the participants can attend and the participants can prepare for the meeting and they can contribute significantly to the meeting. What you have to do, so for that you prepare the meeting notice and you circulate this printed notice to everyone. Is it clear? And you take the signature of that all the people, the participants who wanted to invite for that meeting, that they have got a intimation or the printed notice of that particular the meeting. Okay, informing participants over a telephone. So sometime if it was an urgent meeting, is it clear, at that time immediate what you have to do, instead of circulating the notice, even you can give intimation over the telephone. Okay, sometime if the person is not present in his native place and all, so you can send the intimation through his mail. Okay, so these are all the things here which you have to do, that is circulating the printed notice. So most of the traditional organizations still they are going to following the old method, that is circulating a printed notice. Okay, and they are going to getting the signature of all the participants. Okay, in some of the times, okay, if it is urgently required, at that time what they are going to do, they are going to inform the participants over the telephone. Okay, The next one here it is that any notice needs to include the following details. So the question is that whenever you are going to prepare the notice of regarding the meeting, so what are all the things should be present in that notice, because you are circulating to the participants to whom you are all that is to whom you wanted to invite to attend that particular meeting. So the thing should be present on the notice here. It is that is the date on which this notice is sent. Okay, and details regarding what is the purpose, that is why you are conducting this particular meeting. Okay, the date when you are conducting this meeting, the day when you are conducting this meeting. Okay, time when you are conducting this meeting, venue where you are going to be conducting this meeting. All this information, that is the purpose, the date, the day, the time, and the venue. Okay, all this information should be present in that particular meeting notice. Next one, it should also contains the agenda items. What are all the agenda items you are going to discuss in the meeting? Okay, along with that you put the signatures, that is who are all going to that is they are conducting this particular the meeting. Okay, so you have to that is the notice should contain the signature. Say for example, this notice is circulated by the principal, it is circulated by the HR. Is it clear? So he wanted to conduct this particular meeting on these particular issues. Okay, and it should also contain the recipients, that is recipients means the people who are all invited to attend that particular meeting. Is it clear? So that is recipients information should also be presented over there, that is the who, that is who are all the people attending the meeting. Okay, so what are all the things should be presented here? That is the date on which the notice is sent, all the details regarding the purpose why you are conducting this meeting, the date, time, and venue of the meeting, and list of the agenda items what you wanted to discuss in the meeting. Okay, and the proper signature should be present on that particular notice, who is circulating this meeting notice, who is going to conducting this particular the meeting. And it should also contain the list of the recipients to whom you are going to invite for the meeting. Okay, now the next thing here it is that among all these, one of the important thing is that list of agenda items. Okay, so that is a written agenda which is a list of the individual items that need to be discussed in the meeting. Okay, and it should also be included with the notice, with the meeting objectives clearly defined and agenda. Okay, and can be developed keeping the following guidelines in the mind. So if you want to prepare the list of agenda items here, so some of the guidelines you have to keep it in the mind. Okay, so based on these particular the guidelines, you have to write the list of agenda items. Okay, so what are the guidelines? You have to keep it in your mind. Okay, so while defining an agenda, okay, while developing an agenda, so first thing here is that limit the number of agenda items, that is 3 to 6 is a good rule of thumb. Okay, now separate the need to know from the nice to know. Is it clear? Separate the need to know from the nice to know. Arrange them logically. Okay, uh, do not dwell on the post, that is the meeting agenda should reflect this future orientation. Okay, next one, present the opportunities not the problems. Instead of focusing on the problems, you recast them as opportunities. Okay, next one, allocate a ample time, that is you have to give a extra sufficient time for the preparation of the meeting for the participants, extra time for the questions. Okay, extra time for the creative discussion, etc. Include sufficient details, and agenda item should give participants the specific information they need in order to prepare for the meeting, including the following details in an agenda, that is your name of the organization, okay, department or the committee who is going to conducting this particular meeting, the day, time, and all these things what you have discussed, venue and all. Okay, and follow up meeting venue. Okay, and what are the items to be discussed, everything, all these should be included. Okay, the next one is that if possible, email the agenda along with the meeting notice to the participants a week before the meeting. Is it clear? So a week before the meeting, okay, when you wanted to conduct, before that earlier 1 week, what you have to do, you have to send the meeting notice and along with the agenda. Is it clear? To the participants. Okay, so either you can send a email also. If the agenda has a less number of items, it can be included in the meeting notice itself. Okay, if you are having a very less number of agenda items, then you can include it in the meeting notice. Otherwise, you can separately make a list of the agenda items along with the meeting notice. You can send it to the participants. Okay, so the next one here it is that the participants, you have completed about a meeting notice and agenda. The next one is a participant, that is the who are all the right people to attend this particular the meeting. Is it clear? So this is the one here. That is one of the primary cause of an unproductive meeting is not having a right people in attendance. Is it clear? So identifying and right people to discuss about these particular the agenda items. So you have to identify that, okay, these are the people responsible for discussion. Is it clear? So only those people has to be invited for the meeting. Okay, so here he is going to give that some of the points here, that is to whom you have to call for the meeting, that is identifying the right people to attend a meeting, those who have enough knowledge of the subject. Okay, so that is the thing which you wanted to discuss in that meeting, the people who are having an enough knowledge about the topic. Okay, and to make a meaningful contribution to the meeting, the people who are arriving to the meeting, they have to give a meaningful contribution. Okay, so to that particular meeting, so such a people you have to identify, that is he should have a vast knowledge and idea, and he can contribute more to the meeting, and those with the power to take the decisions, and the people who wanted to, who is having a power to take decisions, or the people who are having a power to approve some of the projects and all, so such people can also be invited in the meeting, and those who are responsible for implementing the decisions. Okay, the decisions which are made in the meeting, so these decisions are implemented here. Who are going to implement this? Is it clear? Say for example, if a principal and HODs are attending the meeting and some of the decisions has been made, and the decisions has to be implemented in the department. Okay, so the HODs are responsible for implementing these decisions at the department level. Is it clear? So such a people are invited to attend the meeting, that is who are responsible for implementing the decisions which are made in the meeting, those who will be affected by the decisions you made. Is it clear? The sometimes what happens, the decisions which you are going to take it in the meeting, it may affect the other pupils or the other divisions which are working in the industries or factories. Is it clear? The business. Is it clear? The decisions which you will made by affected by the decisions, so such people can also be invited to attend the meetings, or the representatives may be allowed to attend the meeting. Is it clear? So this is all about the participants. The next one step here, it is that the venue and the setup. So that is where people should meet here. This is the one the thing here is that, okay, so here they are going to be say that that the choice of a meeting room has a significant impact on the overall quality of the meeting. So in this here, two types are there. One is either you can conduct the meeting in the boardroom style, either you can conduct the meeting in a conference style or a theater style. Is it clear? So it is totally depend upon the number of people who are all attending that meeting. Okay, if a few numbers are going to be attending, that the style is suitable for the most meetings that involve sitting around the table. So you can conduct this type of the meeting in a boardroom style. Next one is that another one, the conduction of meeting in a conference style or a theater style. This style is suitable for annual general body meetings. Okay, where huge number of people are participating, attending these particular meetings. Is it clear? Or any other meetings that have a large number of participants are there. Okay, presentations and questions and answer sessions are going to be conducted there. So at a time, so the more number of participants has to be accommodated, so you have to choose one conference hall, or either it may be the theater style. How it should be? It should be like in the theater style. The stage will be there, and below you are having a theater style. Is it clear? So the following aspects of the conference room need to be considered in this regard. So whenever you are going to conduct this particular the meeting, whenever you are going to selecting the venue and setup, depending upon the participants, either it may be the boardroom style or either it may be the conference or theater style. Okay, some of the aspects we have to be considered here. What are these experts? So here he has given that. So what are all the things we have to see over there? Okay, what is the size of that room? Okay, with the boardroom or if it is a conference room, what is the size? How many number of people are going to be accommodate? Sufficient lighting facilities there or not? Is there a ventilation facilities there or not? Okay, whether acoustics facilities are there or not? Okay, whether electrical outlets are there, storage space is present or not, sufficient chairs are present or not? Okay, so whether they are having a sound systems, distractions, presentation equipments are present or not, projection screens are present or not? Is it clear? And other amenities and the spatial needs, all these things you have to the check that. Okay, that whenever you are going to selecting a particular venue, either it may be the boardroom according to the requirement. If it is a conference room, more number of people are there, more number of chairs are required. Okay, so sound systems and all these things are going to be required, electrical outlets are required, proper lighting is required. Okay, so all these things whatever I have discussed, so you have to concentrate on all these particular the things before selecting the venue. Is it clear? The next one here, uh, we are going for that is the procedure or conducting an effective meeting. Okay, what is the procedure for conducting an effective meeting? Okay, so the quality of a meeting is largely determined by how well the players act out their roles. Okay, by playing the three primary roles, as I already discussed about it, the member who are just that is in the group discussion, I already discussed about that role of that each member. Okay, here also same thing is that the primary role of the members who are participating in the meeting. Okay, so the roles of they may play as a leader, as a facilitator, or they may be a participant. Okay, so the members who are presenting in that meeting, either he may be a leader, he may be a facilitator, or he may be just a participant. Okay, the chairperson can direct the meeting towards achieving its specified goal. Okay, listed below are what are the responsibilities of the chairperson. That is, he is responsible for the smooth conduction of this particular meeting. Okay, that is the head or the leader, or we call it as a chairperson, who is responsible for making this meeting successful, making a meeting very effective. Is it clear? So what are all the things here? Okay, what are all the responsibilities of this particular chairperson towards making a meeting effective? The first one is that getting the meeting off to a good start. So it is the responsibility of the leader or the chairperson that must establish control of the meeting from the start by setting the tone. Okay, he is responsible for initiating or starting the meeting. Okay, so but that is by setting the tone. He is going to give why he is called the meeting, agendas and all, then he is going to initiate that. Okay, and starting he is responsible for stating the ground rules and what are the objectives for this particular the meeting. Okay, so this is the responsibility of the chairperson or the leader, that is getting the meeting off to a good start. Next one is that it is the responsibility of the chairperson that how he has to encourage the participants. Okay, encouraging the participation is one of the leader's main obligation. Is it clear? So what are the tips for encouraging the participations in the meeting? The people who are attending in the meeting, they should not keep silent. Is it clear? Actively they have to be participate in that meeting. They have to discuss the about the problems or any the issues, or help them to take any particular decisions. They have to give the opinions and all. So that's why they are going to say that it is the duty of that particular the person to encourage the participants. Okay, so that's why what he is going to say that. So what are all the tips are there? So, okay, that a chairperson has to take care, that is he do not monopolize the discussion, do not exhibit verbal or non-verbal disapproval of ideas. Is it clear? Even if you disagree with them, okay, even if you disagree with them, do not exhibit it, do not show it. Either it may be in the verbal or either it may be in the non-verbal. Is it clear? Ask open-ended questions to stimulate the discussion. Okay, frame the problems in a positive terms, identify the introverts and make a point of asking for their input. Do not let the extroverts monopolize the discussion. Recognize the differences in the individual styles. Change the sitting arrangement if you need. Rotate the leadership. Is it clear? So these are all the things here there, that is the tips for encouraging a participation. Okay, so the next one here it is that drawing the silent types into the discussion. Is it clear? Here it is that that is the silence can be divided into the three categories here. Okay, so what are these? First one here it is that silence of general agreement and no contribution. Silence of defendants, that is the leader should gently bring the participate into the discussion. Is it clear? So this is the one that is the drawing the silent types. Okay, that is a silence of defendants, that let the leader identify that the participant, okay, identify the participant, gently bring the participants into the discussion. Sometimes there is a silence of hostility, because some of the people are silent because they are feeling disrespect in the meeting, they are feeling humiliation in the meeting, so that's why they are silent, they are not actively participating the meeting. Is it clear? So all these things has to be identified and take a proper action and bring these particular participants into the discussion. Okay, so the next one here it is that uh, joining the discussion. Is it clear? So this is the procedure and conducting the effective meeting. The first one here, getting the meeting off to a good start, we have completed, encouraging the participants, and the next one is that drawing the silent types into the discussion. Okay, so the next one here it is that joining the discussion. In most of the cases it is better for the leader to stay out of the discussion and remain in the neutral. Is it clear? As a just he has to play the role as a facilitator. Is it clear? However, there is an exception. If the leader has a relevant knowledge or experience, then okay, he can participate and he can express his views. The group may feel that a leader is obliged to share it with them. Next one is that you have to manage the emotions. The meeting leader should be conscious of not only the written agenda of the meeting but also the hidden and emotional agenda of the participants. What do you mean by this hidden agenda? Is it clear? So hidden agenda indicates that what people really want as against what they say, what they want. Is it clear? So sometimes what happens, because of the fear and all, most of the participants, they are having some hidden agenda, but they are not going to be express it openly. Is it clear? So he has to be identify, is there any hidden or emotional agenda is there of a particular participants? Okay, is it whether he is really expressing it? Is it clear? So that is what people really want as against what they say and what they want. Okay, and leaders should be able to manage positive and negative emotions. Next one is that dealing with the latecomers. The only way to ensure that a meeting starts on time and is to start it on a time. In addition, the leader should try to find out why certain people are the habitual latecomers. They are having a habit to attend the meetings, okay, late. Is it clear? So why they have make it at an habit. So okay, so you make them realize the importance of the meeting. Okay, and you make the importance of attending the meeting on time. Okay, and the value of contribution to the meeting. Next one is that managing the conflict. Some of the conflict is inevitable when the people with varying people's varying views meet in the meeting. So they obviously the different participants are presented, they may having a different varying views are there. So there is the chance of a conflict will be there. The one person may not be is accepting the views of the other one. Okay, there is a chance of this the conflict. So this one has to be effectively managed by the leader or the chairperson. Okay, the conflict is a constructive or a destructive depending on how statefully the meeting leader is going to manage it. Next one is that whenever you are conducting the meeting, that you have to inject the humor, that is putting all the people in a good mood. Is it clear? So that is the quality of being a funny. One effective way to dissolve the tension in a meeting is to reframe a problem. or a conflict, okay, in a humorous light, okay, that is in a humorous way. The humor can be a valuable asset in many meeting situations, that is putting it into the good mood, okay. Humor can be you helped the pupil, put the pupil at ease, okay, and make bad news easier to accept and introduce a sensitive subject, okay. The next one here, it is that ending the meeting, okay. So this is the last one, ending the meeting, okay. The next one here, it is that when all the items on the agenda have been covered, it is time to bring the meeting to a close, whether or not the scheduled time has run out. While closing the meeting, the leader should sum up what has been accomplished, what remains to be done. Is it clear? So sometimes you may get a solution to the specific problem, sometimes you may not get the solutions over there, okay. So here, that's why he's going to say that the group has not reached an the agreement, solved a problem or met some objectives. The meeting leader can acknowledge any progress that has been made, whatever the progress it has been made, whether the group has not reached an agreement, whether they have not solved a problem or solved partially, or whether you have not met a complete objectives, whether you have met with only some objectives, okay. At the end of that particular meeting, the leader or the chairperson of the meeting has to acknowledge, okay, acknowledge any progress whatever has been made, okay, that has been made. So why you have to do is that, because you have to set a positive tone, okay, you have to set a positive tone for further meetings and help to impart a feeling of a control, okay. The next one here, it is that preparing and finalizing the minutes. Traditionally, after the meeting is over, it is the job of the secretaries work on the minutes of the meeting. What are these particular the minutes? Minutes are nothing but the record of what happened at a meeting, okay. What you mean by the minutes? Minutes are nothing but these are the records of what has been happened in a meeting, okay. Minutes can be classified into uh, that is two types, and either it may be in a various styles depending upon the style, okay. So minutes can be classified as the formal minutes, or either it may be the informal minutes. So if you are going to say the formal minutes, it contains the following information. So the information may be a minimal, okay, only just a minimal of that information, such as when and where the meeting was held, okay, and the decision arrived at. Only this much of information you are going to write it, that is minutes of the meeting, that is comes under the formal. Next one, another one is that medium, okay. It is the precise of what was said at the meeting in the form of structured reports. The last one is that verbatim, okay, a word account of what was said in the meeting, everything, every detail you are going to be recorded, so under the minutes of records, okay. Either the for the formal meeting, the information what you are going to include, either it may be the minimal, the medium, or verbatim. In informal minutes, what you are going to do is that is you are going to make a bullet point, that is a list of all the decisions what has been made in the meeting, okay, and the work progress up to that date, all information you are going to maintain. You are going to list it in the tabular format, giving each particular topic the decisions which is made on that particular topic, what is the progress up to that date on that particular topic, and what are the subsequent action items, okay. So you are going to put it into the table format, and the topics, the decisions made, the progress to that, and subsequent action items. A narrative report of a conservation that took place between the several pupil, okay. The next one here, it is that while preparing this particular minutes of a meeting, as the chairperson, as the leader, it may be useful to check whether we have the following information, okay. So list of participants who have all attended that particular meeting, copy of the agenda and all the accompanying papers, a copy of any formal resolutions being proposed, a copy of any presentations being given, okay. Two copy of the minutes of the last meeting that you have conducted, okay. Copy of any suggested amendments that is already received, notes of apology, okay, notes of apology for missing the meeting from any particular participants, a diary and a list of dates for future meetings. All this information has to be presented, okay, along with the chairperson or the leader before you are going to preparing the minutes of the meeting. When putting together the minutes, we must ensure that we do the following. Now, once you are having all this information available, now it is the next aim is to you have to go for preparing the minutes of the record. Okay, so what you have to do, draft the fair copy of the minutes within a week from the date of the meeting, decide the style of the minutes and prepare a template with all the headings, keep a list of all the abbreviations and acronyms used. Is it clear? So make a action point list. Okay, noting down all the things that were agreed upon, make a note of all the items participants agreed to discuss. Okay, so the next one here, it is that make a necessary changes after verifying the comments. The last one thing here which it is that is evaluating the meeting. Okay, so in addition to paying the attention to all the aspects discussed in the proceedings sections and assigning the follow up task, it is important to evaluate what is the quality of the meeting. Okay, so that further meeting will be more productive. Okay, so these are all the things here which you have been considered whenever you are going to conduct the meeting. Okay, so this is under the procedure and conducting the effective meetings. So we have completed the last topic, that is the meeting. So thank you very much for your kind cooperation.